Hello everyone, it's SpawnPoint and welcome back to another video. So last year I picked up my Tesla Model 3 and while I waited for delivery I literally watched hundreds of YouTube videos about the car, yet I still didn't fully appreciate just how good the Model 3 was going to be. That's one of the reasons that I was really keen to create some of these videos, to kind of give something back, to give feedback into my ownership so far. So I really do hope genuinely that this video is useful to you, and these are the top 10 reasons why I love this car and why I really think this is the best car and probably the best car that you should be buying this year. So I'll start by saying that I absolutely love the look of this car. I think it's sporty. I do think it stands out. A lot of people will say it's got an understated look, but I actually disagree. I think it really stands out against the normal cars and all the typical German cars that you see on the road. The front end is really, really nice. Obviously I've removed the aero wheel covers off the side and I've added a spoiler to the back and I've got the vinyl number plates on as well. So I think it stands out. It's a little bit different, even to a normal long range. I do think this stands out against the rest. Okay, so first up, and a real game changer for many, is the autopilot and the adaptive cruise control. I've used it quite a lot now, and the fact that it'll follow the road, it'll brake, accelerate, and come to a complete stop when needed is just incredible. So how it works is, when the grey steering wheel icon shows on the screen, it's telling you that autopilot is now available, and you can engage it by pressing down twice on the stalk. Then the icon turns blue and you'll need to keep your hands on the steering wheel for probably every 20 or so seconds or it will disengage. It does take some getting used to and you're probably not going to use it on roads with poor road markings or poor visibility, but on those open roads it makes so much sense. And next up are the running costs. So my running costs so far compared to a similarly priced petrol car in terms of performance is really, really low. I knew it would be cheap, but as my only expense is now electricity to charge it, is a fraction of the cost of petrol. So I've mentioned this before in a previous video, but for me to cover roughly 2,000 miles, it's cost me just under £95 in electric, comparing that to more than 450 in my old petrol car. So over the year, that would be the difference between 500 in electric and 2,300 in petrol. Servicing is ridiculously cheap too. I mean, we're talking brakes and tyres and the odd brake fluid change. No more worries about oil, plugs, coils, exhausts and so on. And one thing I really didn't think I'd like is the quietness and the noise of the car. You don't realise just how noisy petrol cars are until you've exclusively driven an electric car for several months. So all that engine noise just seems so kind of unnecessary. And coming from only owning loud and petrol cars, I really thought I'd miss the exhaust note, but honestly, I really don't. So driving this, it feels like you're kind of a bit of a ninja really. I mean, you're sneaking around the streets, no one hears you come in, you can put your foot down wherever and whenever you like, and you're not raising any suspicion, and to be honest, you're not pissing anyone off. Now, this is awesome as well. So preheating the car or pre-cooling the car in summer. So just imagine it's 7 AM, it's a typical winter's morning and you need to use the car. So if you're like me, you'll either stand outside scraping the ice off the windows and jump into the freezing car, or you'll maybe turn the engine on and leave it running on the drive for 10 minutes or so while it heats up. If you have a car with a loud exhaust, then you've probably woken your neighbours up and pissed them off as well. Well, now I just open the app and at the press of a button I can preheat the car, the windows and the seats. So in a matter of minutes the car is good to go. My neighbours didn't even realise I was warming it up, so again, I've not annoyed anybody. Or if you know you're going to use the car more regularly at a certain time, say you commute every Monday to Friday, you can program the car to preheat or cool down in summer before you need it each day. Now this is something I never thought I'd actually use in the car, but YouTube and Netflix are actually really, really good. So I've had a few occasions now where I've been sat in the car waiting or charging, usually with my kids, and sticking Netflix on for 15 or so minutes with the full surround sound is just awesome. Then the Spotify. So for anyone who doesn't already have or use Spotify, this will probably convert you to doing. And for those that already do use it at home, it's just such a convenience being able to take your library and your playlist with you in the car. You can even use voice commands as well to search and play anything while you drive. You don't need a Spotify premium account to use it in the car. In fact, you don't even need to sign in, as the car does have its own account. Now this could probably be the biggest benefit and the biggest thing that I love about this car, and it's the massive convenience of being able to charge at home. I mean, it really is a game changer. I didn't realise how much I'd appreciate the little time it now takes for me to charge the car. I mean, we're talking 10 seconds to unwind and plug the car in, and probably 10 seconds or so the next day to unplug it. And that's it. So it takes me about 20 seconds of my own time to charge the car every kind of 2 or 3 days. Also making the most of totally free charging while I'm out and about. So I've plugged my car in at the local shopping centre where it's free parking and free charging. I mean, you don't get that with a petrol car. I've literally not been to a petrol station since I got the car, and the thought of standing at a pump for 5 or 6 minutes, reading the adverts on the back of the pump handle, then handing over £70 or £80 for the pleasure just seems crazy. So I opted for the long range model, which will get around 300 to 340 miles maximum to a full charge. I've had zero range anxiety, so there's absolutely no need to worry about the running out of battery or running out of charge as long as you plan your trip or you make use of the navigation system. It literally tells you when and where you need to be charging on your road trip, as long as you put that destination in before you set off. So the navigation is brilliant at showing you your departure and destination battery percentages. So it gives you a really good idea of what you should arrive with, and if you're not going to make it, the car will divert you to a charger en route. And I mean, with the speed of how a supercharger will charge your car, you're only going to be stood there for 15 or 20 minutes while you pop to the toilet or grab a bite to eat. So the Tesla app is great as well. Being able to check on the car location, remaining battery, charging status, climate control, software updates and so on from my phone is actually really, really useful. So I'm even able to unlock or lock the car or start the car remotely. So if for whatever reason I wanted to give someone else access to the car while I was away from it, I can just do this from the app. And also, if the car alarm goes off, you do get a notification on the app as well. So on your phone, you get a pop-up notification, which I think is a real great security feature. But it would be awesome if you could see live footage from the cameras via your phone in the event of the alarm sounding. So the performance. Now this is probably a given, but I love how fast this car is. That instant power with no lag just blows me away every single time that I put my foot down. It's got that same feeling as a roller coaster when you floor it. And although it tails off once you're at license losing speed, the 0 to 60 in this is just incredible. It's addictive and so fun to drive. If you're looking at the Model 3, what's the fastest car that you've owned in terms of horsepower or 0 to 60? Would you be happy with 4.4 to 60? And the regenerative braking. So being able to drive the car with one pedal is great. But one thing that I love about the Regen is the ability to kind of feather the pedal just enough that you can control the brake lights. So a lot of people assume that as soon as you let off the accelerator, the brake lights come on, when in fact you have to fully let off the pedal before those lights come on. So there's also a really cool way to see this. So using the on-screen car image, the image actually shows you when you're using your brakes. So whether you're using the brake pedal or the Regen braking, the lights on this car do flash up as well. This means that you can feather the pedal slowly off, which kind of feels more like engine braking in a traditional car without constantly showing your brake lights. And there are loads of other points that I love about this car. Some of these include the cup holders that actually fit cups, the rear footwell with no hump in the middle, so it makes it easier for passengers and kids to walk between, and actually means that the centre rear seat can be used with normal legroom as well. And the ability to turn the child locks on and off for the rear doors from the screen as well is really useful. So unlike again with traditional cars, you would have to get out and let the passengers out the back if you forgot to turn the child locks off. Whereas now it's a case of bringing up the screen, tapping a button, and you've unlocked those doors. And once you've driven or owned a Tesla, it's really difficult to look at any petrol car in the same way again. It does really open your eyes to what cars should sound, look and feel like. The Model 3 has kind of spoiled me now. And that kind of wraps up the top 10 reasons why I love this Tesla Model 3. Are there any that you think I missed? Are there any that you would consider your top 10 if you already own a Model 3? Do you have any questions about the Model 3? Feel free to ask them below. I do try and respond to every single question that I get as well. I hope this was useful to you, and if you're looking at buying a Tesla and I did help you make that final decision, you can use my referral code in the description as well, and we'll both get free supercharger miles. So if you have any video suggestions or questions, drop them in the comments below, as I do read every single comment that I get. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. Thanks for watching. Until next time.